The magazine probably is on it.
Oh, I really don't know. Cade might know.
Pregame.tv breaking down golf matchups here with 2011 Super Contest winner Brady. Kannon, fire the cannons. We're going to be doing two videos. The first, we're going to be talking about majors in golf and how it differentiates from all the other tournaments in their betting. Obviously, if Tiger Woods was healthy, we'd say he's got a better chance to win the Texas Valero Open than, well, not that he'd play in Texas Valero, than in the majors. But what I know about golf, well, I did check out Paulina Gretzky on the cover of the Golf magazine. Aside from that, not too much, although I do have my BK's Golf Service pen. Brady, take it away. Majors, what are you looking at?
Oh, man, it's, the first major of the year is upon us. It's the Masters. It's really my time of the year. Baseball's gotten underway. The Masters, the Final Four. It's just a wonderful time, the springtime for sports. And, golf's majors for me are the most fun. There's another handful of great tournaments out there along the PGA Tour schedule, but the majors are what it's all about. And that's the way Tiger and a lot of these guys feel. They don't show up for the Valero, Texas Open that you talked about, and it's all, and with the money and how big the purses are these days, these guys, it's all about major championships.
Let me ask you, Sergio Garcia, never won a major, right?
Best player in the world without a major is probably his title that he owns right now.
Beautiful, because I can't stand Sergio Garcia.
I tell you what, Sergio, I put together an article for Gaming Today that came out today, and Sergio is one of the guys that I noted as a contender for Augusta. I mentioned he owns the title of best player in the world to have never won a major, but boy, has he been hot. He has 4 top 10s this season, also an 11th and a 16th. This guy is really playing well right now, and I would not be surprised at all if he contends at Augusta.
Interesting. How does Augusta differ from the other majors?
Great question. And what's neat about the 4 majors is they're all different. They all test a different part of your game. And I would say the Masters is probably the one major that tests a little bit of everything the most. You need length off the tee at the Masters, but you can't be too wildly inaccurate, of course. They don't have the penal rough that the U.S. Open has. There is more room on the fairway. But when you get around the greens, if you recall watching the Masters, you see that shaved, closely shaven area around the green, and the greens are like lightning. The greens are like putting on this table. And they're undulated. You can't necessarily see the undulations on TV. Another thing that's hard to see about the Masters on TV is how hilly the course is. It's a grind physically. You're going up and down and all over the place because of elevation change and whatnot. So you have to have some length off the tee. You also have to have a lot of creativity around the greens. That's why Phil Mickelson has done well. That's why Tiger Woods has done well. That's why Seve Ballesteros and Jose Maria Olazabal, guys that have very creative short games. And that's why Sergio Garcia could be a contender, because he's got a tremendous creativity ability around the greens. So now you switch over to a U.S. Open where it's just like the straight and narrow. You have to hit it dead straight. You have to hit greens, and you have to putt. It's like almost robotic. It's not necessarily for the creative player. It's for the guy that makes par left and right. And the USGA truly strives for an even par finish to be your winner. The British Open is also a great mix of factors. You have weather. You have bunkers. You see guys putting from off the green from 40 yards away. I would say the British, like the Masters, is a little bit of everything. You have to be accurate off the tee. You have to have creativity. You have to have some flair for the dramatic. And then the PGA Championship is kind of like a U.S. Open, but they soften it up a little bit. The rough is not quite as brutal. There's more scoring opportunities. I think the PGA Championship in recent years, the PGA of America has done a wonderful job. It used to kind of be the 4th major, and it has really become one of the most exciting majors in recent years.
Very good. Let me ask you, in terms of, if you're a gambler, why are the 4 majors, why are there more opportunities versus other tournaments?
Great question. And I'll tell you, one reason the Masters is always a good opportunity is because it's always on the same course. Okay? So it's like if the New England Patriots were the same team year in and year out, you knew how they were going to perform. The Masters gives us opportunity to know what skills are going to bode well for success at Augusta National Golf Course. The U.S. Open, the British Open, the PGA Championship, they rotate courses every year. Now, they maintain a similar style year in and year out, as we just talked about, but the Masters, you're playing the same venue. So it's a good opportunity to handicap who you think's really going to do well on this type of course.
As far as betting product that's out there, I would imagine it's maybe triple the stuff you can bet on at the Masters. They're going to have over-unders on pretty much every player for their first-round score. Is that correct?
Yeah. Over-under for what the winning score will be for the tournament, sure. Probably for the first round. See, I don't know if it's going to go by player. You can probably find that.
See, I really like that because I know a lot of people are betting matchups. But what's a more? I mean, it's not like football or basketball where two teams are playing against each other. They're just paired against each other.
Right.
You know, why? If I like Phil Mickelson or I don't like him or I like Garcia, why do I have to put another thing in the equation? I just want to bet on or against a guy.
Sure.
Let me just bet his first round score.
Yeah. I think you can probably find, especially with the marquee players, Rory, Phil, maybe Sergio, what their total tournament score is going to be. Do you want to bet under or over -4 or whatever?
And even some of the lesser guys, will they make the cut or not?
Yeah, absolutely. That stuff's up there. I remember last year I went out and made a bet. I think I said it on radio that I was going to bet Bubba Watson would not make the cut in his title defense because he came out on Tuesday, and I believe it was the Masters press conference. And he was the defending champion, and he broke down into tears. And he reflected on his win from the year prior, and I said, you know what? That guy's fragile. You know, he just won the biggest event of his entire life. I think he's going to crumble when he gets to the first tee. He made the cut by about a shot. He ended up finishing like 50th. It was close.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you, because I know you're putting together a package now for each and every golf tournament. What can we expect to see from, and we're going to do another video on individuals. You're going to give out some free picks.
Right.
What can we expect to see from that package on the Masters, and frankly, for all 4 majors?
Right. I think for the majors, it's going to be my most abundant package with the most matchups that I'll have put together. I'm going to throw some future opinions out there, and I'll throw future opinions out here as well. I think, and for people that watch these videos, the matchups is where we try and make our money in a golf tournament. The futures are needle in a haystack, lottery ticket type stuff, but they're a lot of fun, and I think my ability to handicap majors, and this is probably true for most people, is better than your average tour stop because you're so familiar with these 4 tournaments year in and year out. So I will make some future plays, but I'll have a lot of head-to-head matchups, and I may take a look at some of the props you've talked about. Don't know if I'll throw those into the package yet or not, but I expect to probably have at least 6 or 8 head-to-heads.
Now, you mentioned you really like the Masters because it's the same course year after year, so you can look at someone's current form along with what their previous form has been on that course.
Right.
Is there one of the 4 majors that's your least favorite just from a betting perspective?
I would say it's probably the PGA Championship because I think it's kind of the most open, kind of the most absent of traditional form. The U.S. Open, you have to have a guy that hits it straight, hits greens. The Masters, certain things. The British Open, certain things. The PGA is a little bit more wide open, so that's probably the toughest one to nail.
Very good. Well,
and I did get Jason Duffner right last year.
Have some Duff.
Tells you how much.
Have some Duff Spear and enjoy it. Well, we were talking about we're going to be breaking down all 4 of the majors throughout the year, but with the Masters coming up here, Brady's going to be going ahead. We're going to do a video. He's going to be breaking down the Masters, give out some free plays on the individual player versus player matchups. Stay with us as we break down the Masters at pregame.tv.